Hello there. Welcome to my shop, such as it is. Microphone on my lapel. I don't need to speak loudly because I'm not speaking with a microphone that's over there. Yes, my hair is a mess. Yes, I'm in my pajama pants. It's Saturday morning. Deal with it. So, what's next? Um, I might go back to work on the plane tonight, the hand plane, not the airplane. Um, if my sharpening stuff comes in today, which I expect that it will. After that, the next project I'm going to start, which I may or may not have mentioned in another video, is a coat rack from my front room. I will be grabbing the lumber for that on the way home today after work, and starting on that over the weekend. So you'll see some videos on that. I don't think I'm just going to do like a whole long video of the build because quite honestly, I think it's going to be boring to watch. It's just going to be me meticulously cutting out lap joints, basically. Cutting pieces to length, marking where the joints need to be, and then very slowly and carefully cutting those joints so they fit together snugly and squarely and precisely. I don't know. I may video me doing one of them, but I think that would be about it, really. There's not much more to watch on that. If I do one, they're all going to be the rest or being the same. I don't know. Maybe I'll live stream. Who knows? That could be interesting. Come on. This is a kind of a router sled I threw together the other day to try and surface some pieces. Sort of worked. Um, I would like to try and build. Um, I don't know what the right word for it is. Is it a sled? Is that what it is? A track for the router to run on. So I can kind of back and forth with it and use that to surface some lumber since my hand plane is being nasty to me. I mean, I have a piece of rough walnut up here that I'm absolutely going to need to surface. It's this one here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's completely unsurfaced all the way around here. Whoops, let's get in there. It's this piece right here. You can see it's completely unsurfaced um, on all four sides. So I'm going to need to figure out how to surface that. Um, Buying it that way is less expensive than buying surfaced lumber. Um, I mean, obviously, there's sort of the expense of the time that you have to put into surfacing it. But time is a resource I have more of than money at the moment. Well, kind of true. I'm not really tight on money or anything like that. I have a great job that pays me reasonably well. I'm certainly not rich by any stretch of the imagination, but we're doing comfortably. So, and right now, I'm not. I mean, time is money when you're doing a business, right? You have to consider how much time you're putting into thing and how much you're getting paid for that. But I'm kind of self-apprenticing right now. Um, Time is also education for me at the moment. It's investing. And there's different things I need to learn. And I have a bunch of time. I'm not going to retire for another decade, hopefully. Unless I win the lottery, which I never play. Then I'll be retiring much sooner and still woodworking, among other things. But time is a bigger resource for me right now than the money. So I don't mind investing a little time in trying to plane that down, learning some new skills, seeing if I can manage that. Here's what I have in mind for another project. I purchased this a few years ago for my hobby working. It's a mini table saw with a drill chuck on one side. And despite its diminutive size, it is a tool. It's not a toy. It's got plenty of power for cutting through small pieces of wood like this, even hardwood. I've cut through oak and maple with this. This blade is no joke. It'll take your fingers off just as quickly and easily as an 8 or a 10-inch blade. And there's no guard. Well, there's sort of a guard. This thing on the rip fence covers the blade a little bit. And it's got a halfway decent miter gauge that I've managed to square up to the blade and make some decent cuts with. And I found this to be useful. I was cutting something really small the other day, and instead of hauling out the big table saw, I got this out and it worked great. And I was thinking it would be fun to build a miniature crosscut sled for this. That would be neat. And one of the downsides to this one is this blade height isn't adjustable. And it occurred to me that if I had a crosscut sled, obviously 1/2 inch is going to be a little too thick, that I could shim up a little bit, then I could actually sort of change the blade height. But yeah, 1/2 inch is going to be way too big for this. That's just going to eat up way too much of the blade. I don't know. Is 1/4 inch? Is that going to be stable enough? I don't know, but it could be fun to find out. Actually, this piece looks plenty wide enough to do this. And I'd have to make a rail. I mean, suppose I could harvest the rail off of this, but then I would lose this. It's going to be a bit of a challenge. What is this? See, I'm still trying to learn the different types of wood. It's definitely a hardwood. I don't know which kind, though. I don't think it's the cherry. Is it cherry? You know, it looks very similar to the cherry. Maybe that's what this is. Yeah. I don't know. I ought to, wow. I say I ought to be able to spot this kind of thing. I'm really just learning. So I've got a long way to go before I can just grab a piece of wood and know what it's made out of. Wow, that is almost exactly the right width, just like a little bit of thinning down. That's too narrow. You know, I think I'm going to snag one of these pieces That is so close to fitting. Like just a little bit of sanding over here. And that'll fit nicely. One of the tools I keep very handy. I'm just doing a quick bit of sanding. So I'm being a little sloppy. I'm going to skip the breathing protection and the eye protection here, but I'm still going to go with the hearing protection. This is probably going to get loud. I need a heavier grit there. So I need to take some material off. 60, there's the 80. Almost, not quite. This is where a hand plane would be really good. Or a jointer. Yeah, let me try. Try chiseling off just a little bit. See if I can manage this. Don't put your hand in front of the chisel. Here we go. Very light pressure. We're just scraping up a little bit of material. Not digging down into the wood. That's digging down into the wood. So this must be going against the grain. This must be going with the grain because this is moving. I go in this direction. It's nice and light and easy. When I try and go in the other direction, it really wants to dig in and bind. You could always just go across the grain, huh? This is the kind of thing that I want my plane to be able to do. It's this nice, light lifting up of the material. Just nibbling a little bit off the surface. Am I trying to be the Bob Ross of woodworking? I don't know. definitely need to make some workbench improvements too. Oh, a little bit more off right in the middle here, and we're going to be good. I mean, if I had to guess, the Bob Ross of woodworking is already out there somewhere. Is it Norm Abrams? It's Norm Abrams, isn't it? Yeah. I could see calling Norm Abrams the Bob Ross of woodworking. I mean, he's the Bob Ross of woodworking with a thick New England accent, but 220. Okay. Put a nice little buff on this. Smooth it out. Well, that's about as nice as I could hope for. See, part of the reason I'm just putzing around right now is it's, as I mentioned, Saturday morning. And I don't want to fire up the big saw because I don't want to wake people up. All right. Now, cutting this to the right depth is going to be a challenge. How thick is that? That is 1/8 of an inch. Yeah, just about exactly 1/8 of an inch. Like 3 centimeters, 3 millimeters, sorry. 0.3 centimeters. So let's see if I can set this here rip fence to 3 centimeters. Now this is marked, and I think those are centimeters. Yeah, it is centimeters. And it matches with this pretty closely. Certainly close enough for woodworking applications. This has been really handy in the modeling stuff that I've done for cutting thin bits of wood and plastic or whatever. So I've actually been quite happy with this as a tool. Like I said, it works well. And having this side chuck is really nice because, let me show you. It came with this little sanding disc that you can chuck in here, and that's been really helpful. Again, you know, just working on very small things, but doing it very well. All right, so 1, 2, 3 millimeters. It's right there. Other side out to 3. It's a little tricky to see. Hello? Oh. That's actually... Hey, wait a minute. Where is this 0 lining up with? Okay. The 0 definitely seems to be the inside of the kerf. This side of the kerf. So 1, 2, 3. That's 5, 4, 3. A little tricky on this side. Wow, that is a very narrow gap. All right. Bring that over. Let me go get the power supply. This has been completely unplugged the whole time. I have always completely unplugged this thing when I'm not actively using it. Because, like I said, that blade is completely exposed and it could easily nibble a finger off. So I have always treated this with a tremendous amount of respect. And seriously, I just had ear protection on. Did I put it back in the bin already? I did. All right. Now I'm going to put some eye protection on. And I don't mind firing this up because it's a little quieter than the big saw. Except I want to have these on first. I know these are more for splash protection, but I want to keep the sawdust out of my eyes as well. All right, we're hot. And this is nice because it's got a variable. So you can change how fast the blade is spinning by switching that around. All right, let's see what we got. Okay, A, I bogged that down a little bit by trying to make the cut too fast. And B, this is definitely cherry. You can tell by the smell. Cut the wrong edge? I think I cut the wrong edge. Oh. Cut the wrong edge. Take 2. What if I should build a mini push stick for this, or push block? Probably would be a good idea. The other thing this doesn't have is a riving knife. So literally everything kicks out of it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there we go. Get that, huh? Lovely. Um, also, dust collection. Let me vacuum this up really quick. Oh, that is sweet. This is kind of fun. All right, let's get the rip fence out of here again. And we'll start working on the crosscut sled. You know, this isn't as ergonomically friendly as a bigger saw, but for what it is, I'm very happy with it. And cutting tiny little things like this is great for that. Like, so much better than trying to haul that thing out and cut stuff on that. You got a little cut, a little piece like this, and I anticipate doing some of this with my woodworking. So, all right. So now we need to cut this piece. I think we want to go the full width of the table. My pencil. Yeah, you know, that edge can be a little rough. Mark that. Let's get a square. I like little projects like this. Little kind of puttery projects. Now the question is, how am I going to cut this? Because I don't... Like, this is coming too far back. I'm pretty sure to be able to use a miter. Maybe I can use the miter. Let's give it a try. Why the hell not? I've got plenty of material to mess around with if this cut goes badly. I mean, this is a cut that would be simple on the big one. But again, Saturday morning, don't want to wake people up. See, now is where I'm being very careful because this blade is hot. It's plugged in. And it's just completely exposed. Oh, you want to be on that side of that. Nice. Got disconnected again. Overhangs a little bit, but that's fine. Now, I think we want this to be... Wait, that's not my piece. This is my piece. Question is, do I want to shorten this so it matches that length? And I think I do. Actually, I think I want to do even a little bit more than that. Oh, look at that. Square. I love seeing square. So we're going to go like this. We're going to go like this. And actually want that to overhang that a little bit. So we're going to cut that to there. Oops. Now we could use the rip fence. Now we should use the rip fence. Like I said, this is a little cumbersome because you have to bolt it on and bolt it off every single time. But what are you going to do, right? I actually think I got this off of eBay or AliExpress. And for what I paid for it, it's done a lot of good work. All right. This does not have to be as precise, but we still want it to be right. All right, 2.1 centimeters. Every time it just spits it out there. That's what happens when you don't have a riving knife, huh? All right, and I'm just going to trim up this edge because it's a little raggedy and I don't like it. Tiny bit off square. But in this case, it's not really going to matter. We're unplugged. Okay. All right. Now Huh. Now we want to attach this. I think I'm just going to use a little bit of super glue for that. This nice medium thickness gap filling super glue. All right, still seems to be on. And let's see, a couple of really small washers. Whoop, sneeze. Oh, pardon me. I guess I should have had a dust mask on, huh? Nope, that's going to be too wide. There's one. I just want to elevate the rail up a tiny bit. There we go. So it's making positive contact. Here we go. Much better. Okay, yeah, so this gets the rail up just above the surface of the table, which will allow me to glue this on like that. It'd be easier if the blade was out of the way, but that blade doesn't raise and lower, so I'm stuck with it there. Oops. Carefully. You do not want to glue this to the aluminum table top. All right, this edge is nice and square. So this is the edge we want back here. Ta-da! Let me clamp this. I don't have any super glue activate. I use super glue because that's what I knew. That was the brand name. Crazy Glue was actually the first brand name that I knew this stuff by. Years ago, with the old commercial with the guy with the he glues. He's wearing a work hard hat. He's wearing a hard hat, and he glues the hard hat to a piece of wood and with like a drop of super glue, and then he's dangling from it. It was a pretty effective commercial. The technical term for this type of adhesive is cyanoacrylate, or CA glue. That's a lot of people call it. All right, now, what am I going to use to make the fences? I don't know. These are the scraps that I cut off the 2x4 that I was dimensioning down. I don't know why I still have this. I should just throw it away. Doesn't fit in the garbage pail. This is a nice hardwood. Oh, but whatever I get, I actually want it to be higher than the height of this blade, right? Yeah, that's kind of important. What do I have up here? I don't want to use pine. And it's maple. Well, that'll do. Right, this side is square. It's important. It's important for this to be square. Yeah, that's square. So just mark the width. Cut a couple of strips. And that's taller than that blade. Actually, I should mark off of this, right? It's going to be going this way. I might just be cutting this in half. This is, yeah, this is a 16-inch piece, and I made my mark just shy of 8 inches. So let me just slice this in half. We'll overhang a little bit on each side. All right, I'm getting too much dust in my nose. I'm going to wear a mask. I don't know. Maybe the hearing protection is a little overkill for this situation, but here we are. Okay. We have fences. That's going to be the back fence. This is going to be the near fence. This is the one I want to make sure is square. Can you even see what I'm doing down here? A little bit, I guess. Need to find a better camera position. All right, so we want to trim It's going to go like this. So this one's going to go here. So this is just going to get screwed on. Screwed and glued. So let's find us some small screws. We don't need anything huge here. And let's get the wood glue. I do want to countersink these though. But I think no, I think my countersink bit is a little thicker than these really need. Let's see if we can change that, shall we? Oops, it's not right. Oh, that's not right. There you go. That up a little bit. So this bit, this is the countersink bit. And this is adjustable in and out. So I'm thinking, I don't really think I can put a smaller bit in there. This looks like it's designed to go with this bit. So I'm thinking maybe if I just do a smidge like that, so I don't go too deep, that will give me the countersink that I need without making too big of a hole for the screws. And this being the far fence, it doesn't matter if this is square or not. The near fence absolutely needs to be perfectly square. The far fence, not so much. All right. One of these days, I'm going to get myself a second drill. And I have a corded one down there, but actually I probably should just get an impact driver is what I should get. Ah, here we go. Oh, did I want to glue this too? Yeah, let's glue this one too. Oops. A little drop of super glue there that's still wet. Come on, skis. I mean, we want it to be close to square, but it doesn't have to be perfectly square. All right, those are below that surface, which is what I need. I have a little bit of sandpaper here. Don't need to go crazy with this, just sure everything's clean and flush. Bevel that a little bit. Make sure we're not going to get any splinters. that. Plywood is nice for a lot of things, but it does splinter very easily. Okay. That's the back fence done. Now we need to get the front fence done. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's right. We want to get the partial blade cut through here. All right, now that is going to give us a reference point to align the back sled. And I think what I want to do is put a screw on one end, make the final adjustment, mark where the screw is going to go on the other end, and then do I have a square that'll even fit in there? Oh, this could be a problem. That square does not fit. Okay. This end of this is square, so I can use this to square this to this. Yeah. So I'll use this as a reference piece to square this off. So let's start with the first screw over here. Oops, ow. Mark the side that's square. Put that down. I mean, I suppose I don't need to glue this one down as long as it's screwed tightly. I keep double checking myself here to make sure doing everything the way I want to be doing it. I have one that's a little bit. These aren't not square, but they're not as precision square as I'd like. Like, I want this to be as square as I can possibly make it. Which is probably more square than it needs to be for the woodworking, but or more precise. All right, right there. So we're going to clamp this and then double check it. And if it's still on, we will mark and drill a hole. Off just a tiny bit. Oops. All right, I got the clamp on just snug enough to hold it where I can still adjust it a little bit. I'm being very finicky here. More than I need to, but all right, right there. See, I think I probably won't glue this one. So I'm worried that if I lift it up and glue it, something's going to go out of line. I don't know. Maybe I'm worried about something I don't need to be worried about with that. And like, seriously, these screws ought to be more than enough to hold that stable. Although, see, it's giving it some flex in here. That's why you would want to put screws and or bolts along the whole length. Yeah, that makes sense now. All right, touch of glue. And I want to make sure that I am not brute forcing these. So, hand driver. Go, that one's where it belongs. Then a little bit of a turn just to stabilize it. Line that up. Yes, I do know how to use manual tools. You do actually own regular screwdrivers and not just a drill. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay, now I want to trim off that overhang. Let's get the Japanese saw out for that. I picked up Japanese dovetail saw. So at some point, I'm going to try and cut dovetails with that. All right. Now, we just need to finish the through cut. Let me sand that down a little bit. That super glue is hardened and it's giving it a bit of a rough edge right there. Yeah, I'm going to put another screw in this just to make sure it's very stable. If I've got another one of those little screws handy, I do not. So let's go into the, actually, I might have one. Yep, there we go. Okay, this one's a little bit longer, but it should still be fine. Just to make sure this is solid and unmoving. Go. The drill right in front of my hand so you can't see what I'm doing. Okay. Hanging up a little bit here near the middle. So let's make sure there's no debris in the way. A little bit of super glue residue on here. We'll get that cleaned off. It's probably all it is the super glue residue. All right. And wax. It is unplugged. Like genuinely, that is almost reflexive for me at this point. Looks pretty good, eh? All right. There we have it. Little project for this video. Mini crosscut sled from my mini table saw. I'm going to clean up my mess now and go take a shower and get ready for my actual job. See you in the next video.